Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about some of my favorite products that I discovered in the month of January. So if that is something you're interested in watching, then you're in the right place. We're about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
So the month of January, wow, you guys, 2019 started off with a bang in the beauty industry. I think a lot of brands were really trying to come out with some really cool products at the beginning of the year, especially in the drugstore space. A lot of new products right off the bat in 2019. I think they wanted to start this year off right, and I think a lot of brands did that. Now, we've talked about a lot of products that have come out so far this year. Today, I want to specifically focus on some products that I came across last month that have become some of my favorite products, and these are going to be products that we haven't discussed before. So just because you don't see a product mentioned here in today's video doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't one of my favorites from this month. There are definitely things that are my absolute favorites that I found this month that aren't going to be mentioned in here, but that's because we've done a previous video on it. One of those things being the Hourglass Vanished Foundation. You guys, this foundation is everything, and I have found myself using this just about every day. I really like that foundation, but again, we've already mentioned that in a video, so that's not going to be something we're going to spend time on today. So today is going to be about things that I've come across that I haven't talked to you guys about yet. Specifically, some things from Wander Beauty and some other stuff, but I do want to talk about the stuff from Wander Beauty with you guys first. Now, you saw in the Morphe video that I did on the Morphe foundation and concealer that I actually talked about this Wander Beauty moisturizer, and that came from a haul that I recently did on wanderbeauty.com. You know, the thing about Wander Beauty, some of their new releases don't come out on Ulta or Sephora, and they're never really pushed a lot when it comes to like commercials or seeing them a lot on social media. I wish that their marketing team was a little bit better with getting the word out there about Wander Beauty, because I find that I have to remind myself that they're out there and I need to log onto the website and check and see what's new. And it's a shame because the company itself is amazing. Everything that they stand for as an organization is just fantastic, and their ingredients with their products are stunning. Now, there's been some products that I don't like, but then there's also been some products that I think are absolutely top notch. You guys know that their Wanderlust powder foundation is one of my favorite powder foundations out there. It is a stunning formula, and I did a haul with them recently, and there were 3 products from that haul in particular that made it to my daily rotation, like top shelf. I'm reaching for these and utilizing these every day, and I wanted to talk to you guys about them. The first one is that moisturizer, and I know that we touched on this in the Morphe video, but I did want to talk to you guys just a little bit more about this moisturizer. This is called the Dive In Moisturizer. Now, Wander Beauty claims that this is going to give you 72 hours worth of hydration. Now, again, nobody's going to wear this for 72 hours without washing their face. But the point of this is that it's an extended moisturizer that's supposed to keep your face hydrated throughout the course of the day, which I really look for if I'm wearing a foundation that's maybe a little more matte, or I tend to get really dry, especially here underneath my eyes and up on my upper cheeks, like right around this area. Gets super dry, and sometimes I'll be nice and moisturized and plumped first thing in the morning when I'm applying my makeup, and then about lunchtime, halfway through the day, things start to really feel dry. That's the one thing that I love about this moisturizer, is that I don't have to worry about that midday, end of day dry feeling. This is one of the few moisturizers that genuinely is an extended release moisturizer, and it does its job from the beginning of the day when I first put my makeup on all the way until when I take it off. My face feels just as hydrated as I did when I first applied the moisturizer. Now, the most impressive thing thing about its ability to do that is that it does it without leaving that moisturizer residue on your face. So a lot of heavier or more effective moisturizers do feel like there's a little bit of a film on your skin almost, and I'm not a big fan of that. I like for my moisturizer to really sink into the skin, and that's what this moisturizer does. So it really hydrates and plumps the skin, and it does it without leaving any kind of residue on the face. And it's not a very heavy moisturizer either. It is fairly light. I'll give you guys a close-up of the texture here just so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, guys, so again, they claim this is going to give you 72 hours of moisture, but this is more of like a lightweight gel cream is the way that I would describe it. And the one thing that I love about this, aside from it being incredibly quick absorbing, is that it also includes squalene, it includes niacinamide, and it has 13 different fruit extracts so that you're getting like all of your antioxidants. The ingredients list for this moisturizer is amazing. I am in love with the ingredients list for this moisturizer. So definitely hop online at wanderbeauty.com, check out the ingredients list, look at the claims. This is definitely worth it. I am getting ready to order another bottle because I have already used, I would say probably about half of this bottle in a month, because I'm using it in the morning and then I put it on after I wash my face at night. But this sucker is stunning, especially during those winter months where we need a really heavy hitting moisturizer, but we don't want to walk around feeling like we have Vaseline on our face. This is going to do the trick. It's amazing. And that's going to bring me to the next product from Wander Beauty, and that is my new favorite cleanser. And this is called the Drift Away Cleanser. Now, you guys know from previous favorites videos, I like two different types of cleansers. I like a balm cleanser. The Pharmacy Green Balm is one of my favorite balms to use to get makeup off. And then I really like a foaming frothy cleanser to use with my Clarisonic or my Foreo or just a washcloth. I like the foaming cleansing action as well. Origins has a frothy foam wash that's one of my favorite. It's the Checks and Balances one, and I've talked to you guys about that one as well. So I tend to double cleanse. I like to use a balm to take off that first layer of makeup, and then I like to go in with my device or with a washcloth with a foamy cleanser, and that makes my skin feel nice and clean, like it's ready to accept product. And that's just the way that I cleanse. I've always felt like doing a double cleanse just so that my skin feels clean enough. Well, this cleanser has eliminated that process for me, and it's because it's a very unique type of cleanser. So when you first put this on, it comes out like a gel, kind of like a balm, and when you put it in your hands and then you start applying it to the face, it removes your makeup just like a balm would take your makeup off. Even like your stubborn kind of waterproof mascara and eyeliner, it just melts through all of your makeup just like a balm would. But then I reach for a Clarisonic and I get my Clarisonic wet, or my Foreo, or you could use a washcloth, and I start in on that balm that's on my face, and it immediately turns into this very rich, frothy foam. And I get that foam cleanse, and then I can wash my face, and my face feels amazing. So it's like a 2-in-1 type of cleanser, and that's the only way that I can describe it. So this is amazing for that reason. I'll give you guys some footage here of what it looks like when you first put it on, and then how it foams up once you get it wet. So again, this is like a transforming kind of gel to foam formula that gives you a soft lather and provides that kind of double cleansed effect. So it does actually nourish your skin as well. The ingredients list for this product is just as stunning as all the other ingredients lists that you find with Wander Beauty. So in this particular formula, you're going to find specifically seawater from Korea, which is really packed with a lot of minerals like magnesium, calcium, potassium, and those minerals are known to like absorb toxins on the skin, especially acne-causing bacteria, and it's going to help kind of balance the skin, clean out your pores. It also includes kelp, and you'll notice that kelp is in a lot of products nowadays, especially from like Tatcha and places like that use a lot of kelp because it is really good to help with premature aging. It's very rich in iodine and minerals that hydrate your skin. This also has coconut water in it, which is really good to gently cleanse your skin without stripping your skin of its natural moisture. And then of course it has fruit extracts in here as well, so you have all of that antioxidant power in this cleanser as well. And I get that it's a cleanser and it's not like a treatment, so you don't have to worry about ingredients as much when it comes to a cleanser, but this is a product that we use every day, you guys, and some of us twice a day. I put this on my face. I cleanse twice a day. So even though our cleansers a lot of times are a product that we overlook, it's something that we should pay attention to because we use them quite often, and I love this cleanser. At the end of cleaning my face, it feels nice and clean without feeling dry and tight and itchy because it's been stripped of all the moisture in my face. It doesn't feel that way. It just feels clean. Your skin feels soft. It gets everything off. It does its job in one shot, and I love it. So if you guys haven't checked out the Drift Away cleanser from Wander Beauty, definitely check it out. Next up, let's talk about primers. So CoverFX reformulated all of their primers, like all of them, and they launched some new ones. Now, I have 3 here that I tried out. I have the blurring primer, I have the gripping primer, and then I also have the dewy skin primer. Now, all 3 of these primers function differently. So let's talk about each one and what they say they're going to do. So first, let's take a look at the blurring primer. Now, this one just reminds me of a basic pore filling primer. They say that this is a silky balm that's going to blur the appearance of pores and fine lines, give you an ultra smooth canvas for flawless makeup application. They also say that it's perfect for all skin types. Now, the blurring primer, I actually really like this one. This one reminds me a lot of the Dr. Brandt Pores No More. It reminds me of the Benefit one that is pore filling. It reminds me a lot of those pore filling type of primers. It has the same texture and it does a really good job at filling in your pores. The one thing that I really like about this specific pore filling primer as opposed to some of the other ones is the ingredients list. This one is talc free, which a lot of pore minimizing primers include talc and mineral oil, and this one doesn't have either of those, and I really like that about this. So if you're looking for a really good pore filling primer, this is an excellent one for you to try out. The one thing that I do notice about pore filling primers is that they do tend to dry out the skin a little bit, and this one doesn't do that. It's a pore filling primer that isn't drying on the skin, and I really like that. So out of the 3 of them that I tried, this one is actually my favorite. Next up is the Dewy Skin Primer. Now, this is my least favorite of the 3, and I was really shocked that this was going to be my least favorite of the 3, and I think it's because I'm a texture girl, and I don't like the texture of this. This feels like a very thick, very greasy kind of formula. Now, I will agree with one thing. They do say it's supposed to give you like a dewy skin look, and it definitely does. Your face looks very dewy. For me, I feel like it's not a nice, beautiful kind of glowy, dewy skin. For me, it's like your face looks really greasy, is the way that it looks to me. And I think it's because this is, and they describe this as a really rich primer that is full of like peptides and hyaluronic acid. I don't know. I think they might have even overdone it a little bit on this one, because I found that my makeup didn't like this one as much as my makeup liked the other ones. I even felt like this kind of broke down my makeup a little bit sooner than my makeup normally would have worn for. I think this kind of shortened the longevity of my makeup. And I'm not sure if that is because of the peptides that are in here, or this formula in and of itself. I'm not really sure what causes my makeup in particular, and that was the Vanish foundation and the NARS Sheer Glow foundation, to just not like this primer at all. It really broke away around here, especially in my T-zone. My foundation just didn't like this primer. I didn't really like this primer. It does leave like a smooth kind of base on your face, but because the formula is such a rich, thick, nourishing formula, it doesn't really sink into the skin. So you feel that thickness and that kind of heaviness on the skin like all day long. So it's not, for me, it wasn't very comfortable either. I just, this one was a pass for me. Of the three of them, this was my least favorite. Next up is the Gripping and Firming Primer. Now, this one is interesting. This genuinely feels like you're putting glue on your face. It feels like you've poured white glue into your hands and you're trying to put glue onto your face. So you learn very quickly that you can't like rub this into your face because it's so gluey. Your face just doesn't want to rub around your face because your hands are just sticking. So you have to like really just press this into the skin. Now when it warms up to the temperature of your skin, you can feel it has almost like an automatic leveling element to it, where it just automatically levels out and your face just warms the formula up and it just sinks into the skin, and you can tell that it's doing that. And it is like a glue in that when it sets, you can feel everything just get just a little bit tighter, and I think that's where the firming properties from this come from. Now when it kind of sets down, it's not dry by any means. It's still incredibly sticky, which makes your foundation stick to it really, really well. Do not use a brush with your foundation with this. Definitely use a beauty blender and pounce your foundation into the skin. I had to learn the hard way that buffing foundation into the skin with this was just a mess. It's an interesting primer. Now, I will say that the thing that I have learned to do that I actually really do like is I've custom primed using the blurring and the gripping primer. I like this gripping primer in areas where my foundation goes away like immediately. So for me, that's my chin, the end of my nose, sometimes like right here on my forehead, and even the top parts of my cheek if I'm outside and I'm sweating a lot. Places where I have a really hard time keeping foundation on my skin, especially like the end of my nose and my chin. I will put this gripping primer in those areas where I really need my foundation to stay put, and it does a great job at that. And then I will go in with like the blurring primer in areas where I just need to fill in my pores, and I love that combination. So I think I like the gripping primer more as opposed to putting it all over my face, because it does feel like you're putting glue all over your face. I like using this in areas where I just need a little help with my makeup. So areas that I know my makeup is going to come off first, this is what I'll put underneath it, and it'll keep my makeup on all day long because it's glued to your face. But overall, you guys, I've put these up against the older versions of the Cover FX Hydrating Primer, the Cover FX Smoothing Primer, and these are 100% different formulations. So they have changed these completely through and through. So these are brand new products. So the next time that you guys are at Sephora, definitely go by the Cover FX station and stick your fingers into some of these primers and play around with them a little bit. The textures are really something different. Alright guys, next up is a product that I absolutely fell in love with, and that is the new Urban Decay Brow Blade. Now, is there anybody out there that isn't in love with this product? I don't think that there is. But let's be honest, here on this channel, we already fell in love with this product when MAC came out with it in their Shape and Shade formula. We talked about the Shape and Shade when MAC first launched this, and it's basically the same premise, except there is a difference. So you still have the same fine tooth point here that these pencils have. However, on the MAC Shape and Shade, they always had this little pomade on the end that had this little sponge here, and the pomade is actually in the cap, and the idea was that the sponge goes into the pomade, and then you use that to like fill in the more, you know, bigger areas on your brow that you didn't use the little felt tip liner on. And that was the MAC Shape and Shade. Now, a lot of people loved this product for the liner, and they never even used the bottom part of it. And I think that that's where Urban Decay really took some notes with this brow blade, because what they've done is they've basically perfected the MAC Shape and Shade. So you still have the end with the pen, so you still have this really fine tip end. The one difference being where with the MAC Shape and Shade, it's like a marker, and you can hear the ball inside when you shake it, whereas the Urban Decay one, you actually prime it by pumping it up and down in the lid. So it's actually working with the lid as part of the component, and that way it's always there, and I love that. It is very waterproof. It does give you these really beautiful hair-like strokes. The color selection is phenomenal, and from an ink stain perspective, this formula is amazing, and I really, really like it. It stays put, it lasts all day, waterproof, sweat-proof, transfer-proof, the whole 9 yards. But I think where they really scored was by putting a micro brow pencil on this end. This is definitely something that people are going to get more function out of than they would putting that weird sponge and pomade on the end. And I think that that's going to be the biggest difference here. And this is a really good pencil on this end. It's a very smooth, creamy formula. It's not overly waxy, but it does stay put. It stays put all day. Sweat-proof, transfer-proof, waterproof, the whole 9 yards. Overall, you guys, this is a stunning product, and I absolutely recommend this. Not only that, but they came out with a ton of shades for a brow pen. Usually there's like 4 shades. You have like, you know, the one that's supposed to be for blondes, you have the one that's supposed to be for brunettes, then you have black, and then you have the taupey one, or like the gray one, or sometimes they'll make it a red one for redheads. But this one actually has quite a wide range of shades, so definitely check out the brow blade. It's absolutely worth it. I have played with the other products in the brow collection, and I wasn't as big of a fan of those products as this one. I think this one you'll definitely get the most use out of, but it's definitely a great product and absolutely worth the investment. Alright, and then I saved the best for last. Now, Wander Beauty came out with a translucent powder, and I flipped out because I didn't know that Wander Beauty had a translucent powder. And, you know, when we all think of translucent powder, this is typically what we think of, right? So we think of these kind of containers. They're usually big containers. They're usually bulky containers. They're usually never a container that we can actually throw in our purse and take with us anywhere, because they're always these big, bulky, translucent setting powder containers. And I don't know, that's always been something that's kind of irritated me, because a lot of those powders are the best powders to have with you throughout the course of the day when you need to touch your face up, when you need to blot your nose, or just touch in here to get rid of some of that excess oil. Especially nowadays when a lot of these translucent powders aren't necessarily flat matte powders. They actually bring a little bit of glow and life to the skin. So, you know, I was resorting to getting disposable powder containers off of Amazon and pouring my translucent powders in these little containers so I could carry them with me in my purse. Well, Wander Beauty came along and saw that that was an issue with a lot of us, and I think they've come up with a really good solution. So this is how they decided to come out and market their translucent powder. This is called the Play All Day Translucent Powder from Wander Beauty, and it looks like a compact. It looks like this is just going to be a flat pan powder, but it's not. It's actually a loose translucent powder. And when you open it up, the component has a mirror in here, really big mirror, which I love. This whole component is really, it's small, but it's still a good size so that you can actually see your whole face in the mirror, but it's still small enough to just be able to chuck in your purse, which I love. And then, of course, you have this nice big mirror here, and then you have your puff so that you can use the puff as well. Where's the powder, you may ask? Well, the powder is in the puff, which I think is absolutely ingenious. So this minimizes and solves the problem, number one, of us not being able to carry our translucent powder with us throughout the course of the day. Number two, it keeps it from being a mess and flying all over your purse and getting everywhere. But number three, when you need this throughout the day, you've got your puff, the powder's inside it. All you have to do is just touch up those areas where you feel like you're getting a little bit shiny and you just need that extra love, and then you just put it in and go on about your day. Now this has like a full translucent compact powder, you know, those containers like these. This has the same amount of product in here as is going to be in one of those, so you're not missing out on any product, and it's definitely full of product. If you're hard with it, you can definitely see it. And it's a beautiful translucent powder. It's very soft. It's talc free. Can I get a hallelujah? So it's not going to cake up on you, which I absolutely love. It is perfect for touch-ups throughout the day. This is freaking ingenious. I love this idea. Let me give you guys a close-up here so you can really take a look at the component a little bit and take a look at some of the application of this. All right, guys, so once you have this component, you just open the lid, you see the mirror there, you take the puff out, and the powder is actually in the puff itself. Now, the component that the puff rests in is actually a really nice component. Like, it's pretty hefty. There's a lot to it. You have that big huge mirror. It's where the puff sits is a nice thick portion of the component, so everything is very secure. It keeps your puff in a nice sterilized safe environment. And then the puff itself is a beautiful velour puff. It reminds me a lot of the Laura Mercier velour puffs, except it's a little bit softer. And then of course the translucent powder is sealed inside within the puff itself. Now of course this is again a sheer translucent powder, and it is going to give you that you know, blurring imperfections. It's going to set your makeup just like any other translucent powder would do. I like to use it to just pat on my face, and then I buff it in to actually set my makeup, and then I carry it with me throughout the day to actually touch up my makeup. Now, one of the things that I really love about this powder is the ingredients list. So I've already told you guys that it's talc free, but it also includes niacinamide in here. Oh my gosh, it's a powder that has niacinamide. So it's got niacinamide, it's talc free. It actually has aloe leaf extract in here as well, which is going to offset any dryness that this powder could possibly give you, and it's going to help to kind of give you that more moisturized type of feeling to the skin. In addition to that, it also has linoleic acid, which comes from the safflower extract that's in this powder, and that actually is an ingredient that helps to unclog pores. So it's a powder that's going to make sure that your pores don't get congested with a bunch of talc powder. That's one of my biggest complaints with talc, is how it really gets cakey on the skin, and it's not really good for keeping your pores clean. It's kind of a pore clogger. So I love the formula of this powder. The ingredients are stunning. The component is ingenious. I love this. I think this definitely is probably my second favorite product from Wander Beauty. It comes to cosmetics. I Love this. I think this is a brilliant idea. This has not left my purse since I got it. Everybody that sees me use it always asks me about it, because it's funny when you open it and you see somebody take out a puff, but there's no product in here. People tend to be like, what are you putting on your face? What are you doing? It really works, you guys, and it works like a dream. And the powder is not just like a gimmicky powder stuck in a puff. It's a very high quality, gorgeous setting powder, and it's stuck in a puff, and I love that idea. Alright guys, so that is it for just some odds and ends of some products that I tried out in the month of January that ended up being some of my favorite products this month. Let me know some of your favorite products that you guys ran into this month and put it down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys. If you are new here, welcome. Feel free to hit the subscribe button and become a part of the approved crew. We would love to have you. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me via DM on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at Erica Approved. And as always, I hope all of you guys are very happy and very healthy, and I will see all of you guys in the next video.